Hey guys, so today's video topic is birth control. A lot of people were interested in this subject and wanted to hear what I use for birth control. So anyone who's related to Joey or I, earmuffs please, or enter at your own risk. So what we're going to talk about are the different forms of birth control available today. We're going to talk about the effectiveness of them, the pros and cons of all of them. We're also going to touch on natural birth control and different methods for that, and I'm going to tell you what I use for natural birth control. A little bit about my history with birth control is before I got into raw food, I had taken a standard form of hormonal birth control before, and I had terrible effects from it. It made me gain weight because it really changed my appetite. It made me moody all the time. My moods were just up and down all over the place, and my boyfriend wanted to kill me. And it also made me not even want to have sex anymore because I was just so moody all the time. So it really wasn't beneficial for me to be taking that. So after I got into following a natural lifestyle, I wanted to figure out what the most natural form of birth control was. So the first thing that I picked up was Taking Charge of Your Fertility. It was available at the library, and this is a great source of information. It teaches you the fertility awareness method, which is probably the most effective form of natural birth control. A lot of women don't really know anything about their cycle. They just know they get a period, and they might have heard about ovulation before, and they really don't understand how it works. And if you had to guess, how many days out of your cycle do you think you can actually get pregnant? The answer is only 6 days. So 6 days out of your, average 28, 30-day cycle, that's how many days you can actually get pregnant. So this book talks about when those days are. It tells you how to figure out when you're fertile and how to track your cycle. And it talks about charting and everything like that. So the 3 main signs of fertility that you can track are your temperature. You take your waking temperature, which is called your basal body temperature. And you want to take that in the morning as soon as you wake up. You don't want to get up and go to the bathroom or go drink water. You want this to be the first thing that you do when you wake up in the morning. I actually set my alarm for tracking this before my other alarm where I actually want to get up. The second way is to check your cervical fluid, because there's all different types of cervical fluid. So this is going to teach you how to track and monitor that. And then cervical position, because your cervix raises up and down as you get closer to ovulation. So sperm can actually live inside your body, inside fertile cervical fluid for about 5 days, sometimes less. So that's why there's a 6-day window where you can get pregnant, because it's the 5 days leading up and then the day of ovulation. So 18 hours after you ovulate, you can still get pregnant. If you're taking your temperature and you see a couple days of consistent temperature rising, then you know that you've already ovulated and you can't get pregnant anymore. So it's really simple the way that it works, and I just learned, so much amazing information from this book. I would recommend that anybody read this, whether you're trying to get pregnant, avoid getting pregnant, whatever it is, because, as women, we need to know what's going on with our bodies. One of the most important things that I learned in this book is why some girls and women get late periods. A lot of girls have, random cycles, and a lot of that has to do with stress around the time of ovulation. But a lot of people just get freaked out and they think, oh my gosh, I'm pregnant, and they're having pregnancy scares several times a year because they don't know what's going on. So this book explains why that happens, and just in short, I can tell you that it's mainly because of ovulation. That's a very sensitive time of the month, and if you have any kind of stress going on, it can set back your ovulation. So however many days you set back your ovulation, that's how many days late your period is going to come. Now, you will ovulate during your normal lifestyle. If you're not stressed out, you'll ovulate almost on the exact same day every single month. So it's very, very easy to track. So I would recommend that anybody get into this. The most important sections in this book that you want to read is the second section, which is rediscovering your cycle and your body. and then the third section, which is natural birth control. So it's going to explain everything that you need to do. And a lot of people think that this is like some kind of like ancient crazy method that's not really effective. And the truth is that this is actually, when used properly, more effective than a lot of forms of birth control that are available now. So I kind of want to, go through those and tell you guys about the effectiveness of different types of birth control. Probably the most common form of birth control is le condom. It's about 95 to 99% effective, and the positive side of using condoms is that if you have more than one partner, it's great for preventing STDs. The downside would be that there's a barrier there. It's not as intimate, it's not as fun, and a lot of condoms also have animal products in them, so I don't want to be buying anything that has animal products in it. Probably the most second common is the birth control pill. This is a hormonal pill that's going to, change your hormones so that you don't ovulate and don't get pregnant, and it's about 99.1% effective, which is really effective. That's great, but there's a lot of terrible side effects. Like I was saying before, you can have mood changes, appetite changes, weight gain, plus you're messing with your hormones, so that's just not good. An IUD is another option, and that's a device that they'll insert inside you, and that's in there for a pretty significant amount of time. It's 97% effective, so that's one of the pros, and you don't have to be taking a pill every day, but there's a risk of infection with that device being in there, and you can also have ectopic pregnancies, which are not good. You can get allergic reactions from the copper in the IUD, and if it's not a copper IUD, then you're getting progesterone, and so that's just a hormone once again, so that's not good for you. You also have to go to the doctor often and get checkups and make sure that you don't have an infection and stuff like that, so that's requires a lot of maintenance. Another option, which is natural, is a diaphragm, but that's kind of annoying, and the effectiveness is about 96% and up if used properly, like most things. But it's just kind of annoying to have to stop what you're doing and insert a diaphragm, and I don't know how comfortable it is. Another type of birth control is spermicides. Now, spermicides are about 75% effective and up, so that's really not something that you want to be using by itself. You want to use that paired with something else, like a diaphragm or an IUD or something like that. So one of the really effective forms of birth control is actually the natural family planning, which is where you monitor your temperature every day. This can be up to 99% effective if you are really disciplined with it. It can be a little tedious, so that's the downside, but there's a website called fertilityfriend.com, which actually has phone applications to make it even easier for you to monitor this. But I didn't really do that. I guess I would if that was my only option, but I found a better option, which is the Lady Comp. I love this thing. It's 99.3% effective, which is good enough for me. There's no side effects, and it's actually been around for over 25 years. Tons of women have been using this in Europe, and the main reason that it's not promoted in the United States is because the US drug companies want to be able to push birth control pills on you and make you feel like you have no idea what's going on with your cycle and you could get pregnant at any time, so you better take the birth control pill so that you're not having babies left and right. And that's really not how it works. This is extremely effective when you use it properly. I've had no issues with it. I've been using it myself for over 2 years now. Totally effective, and I love it. It works really, really simply. You just take your temperature orally with this thermometer that's attached, and it gives you red lights, yellow lights, and green lights. On green lights, you can have sex. On red lights, that's a no-go. That means that you're either ovulating or very close to ovulating, or it's just after. Just after you ovulate, it'll usually give you yellow lights. Anytime that it's not sure what's going on, it always errs on the side of caution and will give you yellow lights or red lights. And so it has like all of your customized information stored in here from you taking your temperature every day, and it tracks your cycle. And then it also has like a database, this whole like program for the Lady Comp has a database of other women's cycles so that it knows how it works. But of course it customizes it to your own cycle. So I just want to show you very quickly how it works. It's incredibly simple. Like I said, you take your temperature here with the thermometer when the alarm clock goes off, and this thing is basically just like an alarm. And so you can see today I had a green light, which means I'm good to go. It's my 26th day, it's telling me, and my temperature was 98.15 degrees. So that was after I ovulated. That's usually what my temperatures are like. So, and it also can predict it like up to 6 days in the future. So you can look ahead of time and see, you know, am I going to be ovulating? Am I going to be menstruating? Do I have green lights? What's going on? So it's really helpful to have that little time machine there. So we're gonna go back. We're gonna go back in time here to before I had green lights. You can see I have red lights and my temperature is 97.52, and then it goes up 98, and then 98.15, 98.16, and so I've ovulated at this point already, and my temperature's going up, and then you can see, boom, I get a green light because it realizes that you've already ovulated and you're in the clear. I love this thing. I don't know what I would do without it. It's really just been so amazing that I don't have to take regular forms of birth control, and that they've been able to package it in something so simple to just make it convenient to, you know, follow a natural birth control method. So if you guys want to get more information about this, you can go to my website, meganelizabeth.com. I'm going to have all the info for the Lady Comp, the brochure that comes along with it so that you can read all about that. The price is $500, and I think it's absolutely worth it when you think about the fact that you're going to have this for the rest of your life, and if you compare it to what you would spend on birth control or lots of condoms, stuff like that, I think it's definitely a reasonable price. So check out all that info. I'm going to put a link in the description below that's going to take you directly to that on my website. So also give me some feedback. Let me know what you think about this, and I'm happy to answer anybody's questions. But next week, stay tuned. I'm going to be doing a recipe video. I think I'm going to do a dessert, maybe some cinnamon carrot pie. So stay tuned for that. I thank you guys for watching, and I will see you next week.